Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 2000. Wow, it's a lot. Written by I Love Tacos 599. 3 or 3:30. This mystery is dirty. Back when I was working at a grocery store when I was 18 years old, I would take pictures of the work schedule for the week. Usually I would remember what time my next shift started, but had the picture as a just in case sort of thing. That day, I knew I started at 3:30 p.m., being the bit of a paranoid person I am. I went to check my phone to look at the picture to confirm. It said 3 p.m. I could not believe my eyes. I felt a bit crazy, and as if I had a memory problem that made me anxious. I had my iPhone screen brightness up all the way and zoomed in, and it clearly showed 3 p.m. I showed my mother the picture, and she confirmed it was 3 p.m. Brand new iPhone at the time, no cracked screen or screen protector, and a clear picture taken in a well-lit room. I drove to work and got there at 3, and I went to look at the schedule, and behold, it said 3:30 p.m. I could not believe my eyes. I go look at the phone again, and it said 3:30 p.m. like I originally remembered. I asked a coworker what it showed on my phone, the same exact picture I showed my mother, and he said 3:30. When I went home, I showed my mom the picture again, and she said she sees 3:30. I told her what happened, and I said, "Remember I showed you this picture, and you said it says 3? She does remember seeing 3, and just brushed it off, saying it was weird. To this day, it still bugs me that nothing like that ever happened again. Case notes file 2000. 3 or 3:30. This mystery is dirty. The main piece of evidence to indicate that you're still in the same universe is your mom. She did remember you showing the picture. So somehow the data on your phone was discombobulated with a different universe's version of this image that you also take over there. In that universe, you started at 3:30, not 3. Although I have to admit this has happened to me in different ways where you confirm something in your mind, you look at something written down, or you think you locked the door, you even confirm you locked it, and then somehow you come back and it's not locked, or you turn off the stove, you're sure of it, and somehow it's still on, things like that. I don't know if those are all glitches. Sometimes maybe our minds are just bizarre, but given you involved your mom as well, much more likely it's a glitch. Case file number 2001, written by A Space Odyssey. Just kidding. Written by Misty W3 Wednesday, City Jeans, and Curious Queens. I, female 27, recently moved to a new medium-large size city, and for the past few weeks, something weird has been happening. There's this one stranger, someone I don't know, have never met, who I keep seeing everywhere. We cross paths in places where there's no logical reason for us to run into each other. Different parts of the city, at different times of day. She's just everywhere. I'll be riding the tram and notice her walking down the street. I'll be waiting for a bus and notice her in a coffee shop. People tend to see other people around the city, I get it. But there's no one else I can think of that I've seen multiple times in this way, and it just feels off. I didn't really clock it as strange until she started carrying the same exact bag as me. It's a Carhartt canvas tote bag. Same color, same style. It's just odd. We've never made eye contact. She's around my age, but we don't look alike. She's just there, always around, never noticing me. I am really interested in the spiritual significance of this. It doesn't feel evil or good, so I'm sort of lost. Case notes file 2001. City Jeans and Curious Queens. So this has happened to me too, where I kept going on bike rides back in Montreal, well, a suburb, Terrebonne, and I would see the same guy every time, but even though I went at different times a day, why was he always following me? And I don't think it was a stalk or anything. He would cross paths way far from where I lived, because I was biking around pretty far. So yeah, something is happening where you can get tethered, almost like you're quantum entangled with another human being, and no matter what happens, you sync up in space and time. Kinda cool. Case file number 2002, written by Sharp Case 8272, Jibber Jabber, and Paranormal Clamber. I was hanging out with my 2 younger brothers one cloudy summer day in our shared room. We were all young kids. I was 8 and my brothers were 6 and 4. Our father, being a carpenter, we had this set of beds which could either stack up into a triple bunk bed or spread out along the floor as 3 small single beds. This afternoon, the beds were spread out in the latter fashion. The middle brother was sitting in the middle of his bed, leafing through some kind of picture book. I'm not certain what I was doing at the time. Maybe walking around the room with an action figure, pretending it was flying or something. All I know is that I was on my feet. My youngest brother was sitting cross-legged on the floor, busying himself with a random assortment of small toys and quietly mumbling to himself. Steadily, his mumbling started getting louder, and he eventually stopped playing with his toys altogether. Instead, he was sitting completely still, staring into the space beyond the toys he was playing with, and continuing to babble gibberish. He, like myself and our other siblings, and probably every child on Earth, was prone to making sounds every now and then. It was nothing new. But there was something off about what I was hearing. None of the sounds were what I was used to hearing. Not the typical cute bullcrap nonsense words of a 4-year-old just having fun. They all seemed so random and harsh and deliberate, and he was just sitting there, staring ahead with a blank expression. Fully alarmed and becoming more scared by the second, I call his name and try to snap him out of it. He immediately fixes his 1,000-yard stare on me and slowly stands up, all the while continuing to babble these strange nonsense words. I looked over to my other brother, who was intermittently looking back and forth between him and me. Not bothering to say anything, but obviously puzzled. Then, my youngest brother took 2 or 3 slow steps towards me, while looking past me and speaking in tongues. The only thing I thought to do was to say to him, "Shut up! That might mean something in another language." Immediately after those words left my mouth, I shot my attention to my other brother, and watched the foot of the bed he was sitting on rise up a couple of feet. As he sensed that he was inexplicably lifting at a tilt, he screamed and the bed dropped back into place. Our youngest brother went back to playing on the floor, this time in silence. My other brother and I were left staring at each other. Throughout the years, we checked back with each other just to make sure it actually happened. None of us buy into religion, superstitions, ghosts, or anything of the ilk, but this instance is something we truly cannot explain. Case notes file 2002, Jibber Jabber and Paranormal Clamber. Okay, this could be a scene straight out of a movie, a horror movie. And you're right, who the hell knows what he was saying? Was he actually possessed? You're also right that yeah, as a kid I used to just spit out gibberish, but it was incoherent gibberish. There's gibberish, but is coherent, like it could be a language you just don't understand. Like someone speaking Klingon or Sumerian, something old, something perhaps not intended to be spoken anymore. I don't really want to think about this one too much. Very creepy. Let's lighten the mood with a joke of the day. I went to a friend's funeral and asked his wife if I could say a word. "Of course," she said. So I stood up and said, "Plethora." As I sat down, she said, "Thanks. That means a lot." Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.